the end of this week's parsha, Yosef makes a request of his brothers that the day would come when he would pass away, and they should please make sure that he ultimately would be buried in the land of Israel. Rav Soloveitchik poses a very basic question. Why is he making this request of the brothers as a whole? Yaakov didn't make the request of all of his sons. Yaakov made the request of his son, the viceroy of Egypt, who was in position to fulfill it. He made the request of Yosef. When Yosef poses a similar request, let him make the request of his own sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, who presumably are much better connected to the inner workings of Egypt than Yosef's brothers. And Rav Soloveitchik cites an idea that comes up in the commentators, which is a very interesting thing to think about, that Yosef felt that since Klal Yisrael, since the Jewish people had had this terrible division through the story of his sale, it really would only come full circle if Klal Yisrael, if the brothers or their families as a whole would take care of Yosef and pay him the honor of a burial later down the road. If it would just be Yosef's own sons who would take care of it, that would symbolize that there was still division, that there was Yosef and the other brothers, as there had been before they became reunited. And Rav Soloveitchik points out that this is a remarkable irony. Yosef was the one who all the brothers needed. They came to Egypt. Yosef was taking care of all of them. And the day would come, Yosef recognizes that the day will come when he passes away. And in order for things to come full circle, in order for it to be clear that Yosef is fully accepted among his brethren, his brothers or their descendants would need to be the ones to bury Yosef. At one point in life, they need him. At another point, he needs them. And that's this fascinating circle. It's interesting to think about in the context of Yosef and his brothers. And the truth is, it's that way in life in general. It always seems to be that way. The person on top today needs help from someone tomorrow. We have a habit of keeping score. We have a habit of who's the giver and who's the taker and thinking about that and remembering that. It's really not how life works. We just have to be connected to each other. Sometimes I need something from you. Sometimes you need something from me. And that's the way it's supposed to be. It's interesting, Rav Soloveitchik makes one more point. Much is made of the fact that Moshe Rabbeinu was the one to actually take Yosef's casket out of Egypt. It's more than Moshe was the one who wanted to do the mitzvah. It's even more than Moshe was the leader. What tribe was Moshe from? Moshe was from the tribe of Levi. Levi, Rashi tells us in this week's parsha, was one of the two brothers who most wanted to kill Yosef at the beginning of the story. This is also going full circle. That Moshe, the descendant of Levi, needs to be the one to pay honor to Yosef, to take his remains out of Mitzrayim. It's true for all of us. Whether it be that one day a person is a giver, one day a person is a taker, it could also be that one day people are enemies and have a tense relationship. The goal is that all the tense relationships ultimately should become ones of peace and great brotherhood. This is something for all of us to aspire to. Have a wonderful Shabbos.